Explosion and fire. Kelly Meyer goes through the flames to get to his wife.
My husband coming to my bedroom window to get me out of the house. He's my hero. He got me out. He saved my life. We're very close right now. I don't think you could tear us apart.
Burned over 40% of his body, his arms, back, and back of his head. More than 40 days in the hospital, months of follow-up, surgery after surgery, rehab, inpatient, and out. The only thing they had left, their race car in a detached garage. He offered that to his friend Chuck to drive last fall. Chuck is dealing with terminal cancer.
Trying to slow it down. The doctors are saying I probably won't make it through into next year. They give me about 6 months, and I'm here to prove them wrong.
But would Kelly be able to drive again? Raised on a track, it's a big part of his life.
I love being in that car. That's my favorite place to be.
When he got burned up in paint, we got one race to make, and that's in Memphis, Missouri.
The race was on to see if Kelly had another comeback in him, as a community rallied around him. Fall 2019, Kelly watched as his friend drove away in his car, not recovered enough himself to be in the driver's seat. He hoped for the next season, but his brother Kirk was determined to get him back on track before then.
You know, my brother said, we're going back to Memphis, when I laid in the hospital bed, and I'm like, I don't know about Memphis.
You see, racing represented hope, recovery, and that fighting spirit they both have.
When he got burned up in paint, we got one race to make, and that's in Memphis, Missouri.
Extensive burns could be a game changer. More than a dozen surgeries, including skin grafts, that challenge his entire body.
My arms don't sweat anymore. Obviously, my head doesn't sweat anymore because it's been grafted too. My back doesn't sweat like it used to. So the problem I have is when I get hot, I can't just stop and get it all cool down. I have to get in front of a fan, or I have to get inside, or I have to get somewhere to get air on me, because it's a weird feeling now. It's not normal like when you're sweating and you're pouring out sweat, you know you're hot. It's a feeling in your stomach like you get sick to your stomach. It's a different feeling. And when it comes, at first I didn't know what it was. I'm like, man, this don't feel good. You know, I was getting out of the shower. It was hot in the shower. And but when that happens, I've got to get cooled down, because it about makes you sick.
He would need a cooling system to be able to race.
What it does is it takes these two hoses here, one's return line and one's an inline. So it takes it in and it pumps the cold water out of this line, takes it up, runs it through a suit, because we have plug-ins in the suit, runs it all the way down the suit, comes back out and dumps back in here, and it mixes the cold water right back up out again. Wow. Keeps it cool. And this is all water, and then we always get a bag of ice and put a bag of ice in there. It lasts all night, basically. You see the holes right there behind his seat? That plugs into the back of his helmet, so it also has an air-conditioned helmet. As he's running down the track, he's got cold air blowing out of here on his head, on his back, and in his suit.
A 3-gallon sealed cooler with a pump in it that you can turn the pump up and down. There's also an aluminum tube that runs through there, so the air that blows in your helmet is cooled also. And it works well. If you turn it on, it feels like you got thrown in the North Atlantic. It's cold.
But was it too early to try a comeback for one of the last races of the season? Kelly was back in the car.
I just wanted to get back out there, have a little fun. So went out there, had some fun. That's really all I was after. So
did it feel different going back and saying, wow, I kind of missed this?
Well, I knew I missed it. It was just, I look back on it now and it might have been a little bit soon for me to get back in the car. But we jumped in there a couple times. It was to prove a point, I think, more than anything.
At home, in his car, one step in their recovery. The family, though, still didn't have a home. They had already moved more than a half dozen times while deciding what to do next, but determined to stay in the small town where he spent most of his life.
This happened, my wife says, I don't know if I can go back to where we were. I don't know if we can rebuild in that spot. I said, well, I got an idea. So when we got well enough, she drove me up here and I said, how about up here? She's like, well, I never thought about it. And I said, I have, but I didn't want to go back into that and rebuild and start all over again.
But they wouldn't have to do it alone, and it wouldn't have to carry the kind of debt they expected. Because over the winter, an outpouring of support from friends and strangers alike.
It's humbling. Ever since this accident, the outpouring of support in this community is overwhelming. It's hard to get your head around what it means to people unless you're in that spot. It means the world. It's hard to believe that these people that I don't know are out here working on their Saturdays to help us out. It's very humbling.
And part of that is people volunteering services to help you build the house.
Sure. Many people did. You know, Petersen came and they donated all the labor, and they plumbed this whole house in 3 hours and 45 minutes, you know, from carrying in bathroom, you know, the bathtub to being done. There's so many people that, well, they donated their labor for it. I know I'm gonna miss people. There's people that don't want to be mentioned that helped out, you know what I mean? It's something else.
You know, we hear so much negativity,
Yeah.
and you get to see the good in people.
Yeah, it's, you know, I wonder why people that don't know who I am, other than a name, you know, would want to come help me, I guess, is the thing. You know, I would do the same thing, I guess, if I could.
But you're actually, through your story, you and your wife's story, you're lifting people up. You're making them feel better about their world too.
Yeah, you know, this isn't, you know, I would do this for anybody. You know, Chuck happens to be my friend. It's just the way I was raised out here, you know. If somebody needs help, you go help them. You know, it's nothing out of the ordinary for me, I don't think, or my family. It's just the way we were raised.
And this spring, the work was done. Kelly and Becky are now home.
And this house maybe is part of the healing for your wife too, right?
Sure, you know, it took a while to get back to home, you know what I mean? So, and now it's nice. We love it up here.
Home too, in his car on this familiar track. Racing again, full speed ahead, until another surgery will put the brakes on for a few weeks.
This time it's try to fix the tightness and it's, as I understand, there's going to be 6 more skin grafts in my arm. They're trying to fix the stuff that's tight, pulling my arms here. So they're going to do, this arm will be pretty much incapacitated for a while.
But until then, he will drive, and drive hard.
How about Kelly Meyer in that 21A, started on the tail. Now battles for the lead.
That feeling, was it different this time with you behind the wheel now?
Yeah. Last year it was, let's get out there and get going, and this year it's, let's go out there and do good. And I want to get back to the front of the pack.
But Kelly Meyer battling back up to it.
I love being in that car. That's my favorite place to be.
With his brother Kirk along for the ride.
It's good to have him back. You know, it's not that he's been anywhere, you know, it's just been a while.
But maybe this pulled you guys a little bit closer?
It's pulled the whole family closer. There's no doubt. What's happened has brought the whole family and our friends and everybody I know closer.
And in a way, he brought his community closer together. One that now comes from all over the country as people hear and share their story and his inspirational message of hope, compassion, and determination.
Any inspiring last words of wisdom for people out there that are having struggles in their lives?
Keep digging. Keep digging. If we can overcome this, and you can overcome anything you want to overcome.
Thanks to our sponsors. Check out the links to support them in our show notes. Watch and listen to our other inspiring racing stories, including Victory Lap, Teen Racer, and Driver Rescues Wife. Let us know what you think. Please subscribe. Follow us on Metivier Media Facebook page and our website. This is American Drive and the Heart of the Story with Gary Metivier podcast and YouTube.